Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Irakali and this is Young Women Leaders in Action. Today our guest is UN Youth Delegate from Italy, Giulia Tariello. Thanks for joining today and let's start our meeting. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much for inviting me and all of you for attending. It's very nice to see that you're interested in these conferences and also in this topic, which is, as Irakli said, young women in action and in leaderships. And yes, I will start by telling you something about me before becoming a youth delegate. I'm now 24 years old and Yes, in 2021, after COVID, I moved from Rome to Milan to attend my second year in of university, the master degree in international relations and diplomacy. In my bachelor years, I studied international relations and political science. And I decided to move to Milan to attend a more specific university course on diplomacy. And in 2021, after I moved in Milan, I also joined the board member of EMSOI Milano, which is the student movement for the international organization, which aims to spread the knowledge and information about the international relations and also about everything that is surrounding us and happening all around the world. And yes, I'm in the board member and I have many duties and responsibilities. First of all, I'm responsible for the external relations, which you know, official communication between the movement and also the other organizations or institutions with which we want to organize and create wonderful events. After my, this volunteerism, this experience in MSOI, I'm also interned at an NGO called OCAM, which was my first practical experience, and it really was helpful for me to understand better how the United Nations work and also how a non-governmental organization work, and it was very useful and also helpful for me to develop new soft skills and also better understand how I am when I work in a team. And yes, and then in September 2022, I've been selected with my colleague Gabriele as an Italian youth delegate from the COI, which is the organization that promotes this program and also collaborates with our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And in these 6 months now that I am a youth delegate, I also did and concluded an internship at the Italian Consulate General in Argentina. Unfortunately, in remotely internship because, for COVID, we weren't able to travel to Argentina. But I would say luckily because otherwise I couldn't go to New York to attend the 77th UNGA and also meet wonderful people as Lara that I see now. And yes, I will define myself as a person eager to know and also to practice everything that I learned in 5 years of university. I love traveling, and one of my passion is learning new languages and also taking pictures and photos. I was about to learn Arabic, but after I gave up because it's difficult. At least I give up at university. Now I'm trying to learn it by myself. So and that's more or less who I am, and that's it. And yes, I don't know if you want to know more about the program and how I became youth delegate and why I became youth delegate. Yes. Okay. So please tell me.
Yes, did you have some dreams
Oh,
and
yes, of course.
hobbies you can tell us about?
Yes, hobbies, as I said before, is just
Mm.
I like traveling, like in my room in my parents' house in Rome. I have this geographic map, the world map, when I pin every city that I've been to, and my biggest dream is like pin the whole the whole map. And my aspiration is like since I was little, I thought that I wanted to be a diplomat, and that I wanted to do the national um, exam on that is needed to become a diplomat. So, like being youth delegate is really helping me to understand if I really want to do that, and also how is being a diplomat at the United Nations, and knowing more about the official communication between the ministry and other entities, and it really helpful. And yes, I think that was my dream, my professional dream in since my whole life. But now, like also in these months, I discovered that I like advocating for education, and also for you know, also trying to speak for myself and not only representing a country, because of course being a youth delegate is means that you represent your country and the youth of your country. So I love that, but also I love like trying to find my own words to reach a goal. And my first goal is now to achieve SDG 4, and of course 5 and 10 and 16, which for those who don't know, number 4 is education, 5 is gender equality, 10 reduce inequalities, and 16 stronger institutions and peace. So these are my main goals. And yes, I don't have much of free time, so I cannot tell you about my hobbies because I don't have time for hobbies. Um, and I think I told you like learn new languages, traveling, hanging out with my friends, of course, and yes, I found that my new hobby is also looking for new job position to apply, so it can be counted as hobby. I don't know. So that's it.
I would like to show you a speech at UN General Assembly before we move to our second part of the event. I will try to. Do you hear the voice?
No.
No,
No.
somewhere you have to put like share audio as well or something.
Okay, separately. Sure. I.
Society
Do you
means
hear?
having the possibility to practice what we, as young students, learn during our academic years. We believe that allowing young people to be actively involved in shaping the future benefits societies in two ways. Youth can gain more knowledge and experience, and adults can interpret the world from a new perspective that they may have forgotten. Too often, young people feel an ever-increasing distance between themselves and the core bodies when the decision-making process takes place. This growing mistrust draws young people even further away from participating in public life, making it difficult to imagine a prosperous future for them to live in. This trend is growing but must be fought back. Today's youth, finding it hard to see their ideas come to play, are looking for someone to help them and listen to them. It is like someone unable to start their car engine and go to the mechanic to ask for help. We need a long-lasting commitment to prove the current dialogue between youth and institution. But how can youth truly feel like they belong to society? By enhancing the educational system and offering courses centered on problems that concern students beyond their control. Climate change, access to fundamental human rights for everyone, and education for all. Italy has stepped up the aforementioned dialogue. In 2021, it organized the Youth for Climate Driving Ambition COP26 side event, hosting 400 young participants from all over the world to pull together ideas and offer a platform to share their proposal to address the climate crisis. This experience was built upon to organize the Youth for Climate event last week here in New York during the High Level Week. With a focus on youth participation, it provided an opportunity for young people to be heard by world leaders. Although we made significant progress, we still need more commitment to bridge the gap and reverse the trend. Often, institutional communication uses a language that can be perceived as too difficult to internalize, a language that the youth do not deem their own. This hinders youth participation in many otherwise excellent programs, preventing both sides from benefiting from each other's involvement. To improve this involvement, the young students should have access to more information about the 2030 Agenda and Sustainable Development Goals, starting in elementary school, where they can learn how to respect others. Only in this way it is feasible to build a completely new society in which everyone is committed to working together to realize their aspiration for a better future. This proposal will help to provide the tools that young people need to be aware of their surroundings, how they can shape their present and future, and most importantly, how they can feel a part of them. The outstanding work of the UN Youth Envoy and the establishment of UN Youth Office are the right steps in this direction, as well as the Transforming Education Summit held 2 weeks ago here in New York. Transforming is a way to improve knowledge, but education must also transform societies. As is evident in this all, the UN and its member states are giving young people the chance to build their future, directly participating on many occasions. The speeches delivered today are an impressive example. We believe the UN must lead by example, allowing young professionals, students and citizens to participate in decision-making alongside their governments. Young people need to be able to speak into the microphone and not just listen. To conclude, the path to a better relationship between youth and institution goes both ways. For projects like Youth for Climate to achieve meaningful progress, both parties must be involved, dedicated and committed. Being at the forefront of change entails responsibilities and a sense of duty. To start our car, we need fuel and a spark. Achieving youth engagement is the only way to have both. Thank you.
Great speech.
Thank you very much.
Mm. So, how do they elect youth delegates in your country?
I'm sorry for my cough. Um, yes, in I think May, the COI, which is the organization that promotes the program, um, like publish an open call where all young people from 18 to 30 years old can apply. And yeah, like selection process can vary year from year. And for what concerned my selection process, I I had to send a cover letter and a my curriculum. And after that, I've been asked to upload on YouTube a video of 2 minutes when I was speaking in English and trying to, of course, first introduce myself. And I had to reply to a question which was like how you intend to achieve the SDGs, how you think they can be achieved. So I tried to give my answer, and it, you know, I recorded my video on the last day before the deadline. So that was because I wasn't very sure about my potential and of course my skills, and I was procrastinating me uploading the video, and thankfully I did it at the end. And after that, I received a call in, after 2 weeks, and they asked me to have an interview with 4 or 5 professors from the COE, because COE also held university courses and masters, so they were very experienced professor, and they asked me about international relations and a UN functioning, how our ministry works, and so on. So I had to prepare myself as it was a university exam, and I was feeling very, very anxious because it was a very important interview, but thankfully they called me back after 3 days to tell me that I was selected with my colleague. And imagine that I received the call in maybe late June, 1st of July. And in July, they told me, okay, in September, you have to go to New York for 1 month. And I was, okay, I don't even have my passport, so I have to run. And I had all my holidays and all the activities that I already booked. And so I had to figure out how I could, do my passport and also be prepared for flying in New York, and also, be able to fairly represent the Italian youth, and make the organization, and of course myself, proud of being there. And so that's mainly how I've been selected. And of course, I work in pairs with my colleague Gabriele, and we flew to New York, but I stayed there for 1 month, while he stayed there just for 2 weeks. Um, and yes, we attended several meetings, such as the Transforming Education Summit, which was very insightful for me, for what I said before, that I really interested in education, and of course achieving a more adequate and equitable access for all. So this was a 3-day summit concerning, of course, education, and there were a lot of young people, young experts, professionals. They were bringing their own ideas and their own experience, and of course their own solution to the problem of lack of education. And um, yes, that's mainly this. And after, yes, you saw my speech at the third committee of the UNGA, and as the most of the other UN youth delegates, and also Lara did his speech, so it was very powerful seeing many young people having the chance, the possibility to deliver their own speeches there, and see that the governments were, of course, interested in young people and in youth speaking for themselves. Um, so yes, that's it. And then I just wanted to say again that after being selected, we had to think about of course, our mandate and the activities, not only those in New York, but of course also the activities in a national level. And we had to think on a core topic that would characterize our mandate, and we decided to focus on youth engagement. And for what concerning the sustainable development goals of the Agenda 2030, as I said before, we decided to focus on goals 4, 5, 10, and 16, which I believe there is very important to achieve, not into to I think that all the SDGs are important to achieve, of course, but for my area of expertise and of course my personal interest, I believe that in order to achieve all the 17 SDGs, we have to achieve before, like, a proper education system, and ensuring gender equality, and of course in general reducing inequality, because otherwise we cannot achieve, like, a proper climate action or any other SDGs if we are not educated on what are the SDGs and what it means to, you know, be engaged, and also what are the possibilities that young people can take. And we, if we are not educated, we don't know about our skills and our potential. So it is very important for me to be educated properly on any area, on any theme. So yes, that's it.
When you meet with young people in your country, what they say about the challenge they face?
Well, I can say that we, as I will of course speak for my country because I don't know very well the situation of young people in other countries, but I can say that I see the young people of today are very eager to know, are very um eager to understand what can they do, not only for their own, you know, for now and I, I can say that they're not worried just for themselves, but also for those who will come next, for the other generations, because maybe we are used to see that the generation of our parents or again grandparents were, I won't say not worried for their children, but maybe they were not so aware about the consequences of their actions. Well, today we are aware of everything we do. We know that if we throw like paper on the ground, that will pollute the air and pollute the street for the next 50 years. And we know that everything we do and everything we say will have a consequences, not just today, but also tomorrow and in 50, 100 years. So I like notice this aspect in today's youth, which I believe is very important, and I'm thankful that they have this all this that they give this importance in what they do. And but I also, on the other hand, I see that they also disheartened because they feel that the generation that are now governing us, and also that they're taking the decision for us, they don't believe in youth enough. So they maybe they don't take it for, they take youth for granted. And sometimes there are institutions or um, summit or other, you know, events that are just doing youth washing, as we say it. You know, they invite young people just to talk about their experience, and but it's not because they're really interested in young people, but just because they want to put the young face in their flyer. And this is not something, we have to combat this. We have to make the institutions and the governments understand that our voice is needed and they have to hear us, because otherwise we cannot, like, we won't have a change. Because I think there are of course some people there now are understanding that, and we are the example, because of course we had the chance to speak in the United Nations, and also of course attending these events as this of today. However, I think that we have to put more effort in reach as many young people as possible, so that they know that they are not, as I say, alone, or also that there is someone who's willing to hear their voice, or willing to to know if their inspiration, their ideas, their insights, because it's important. And because uh, you know, if I see myself in maybe, you know, when I was 13, 14, of course I had my dreams, but I wasn't aware of the many possibility that I could have taken or could have reached. So today we have many more platforms and information that we can reach to learn more about the potentials. And of course, for example, if I attend this university, I can, maybe work in all these areas, and I will meet all these people, all these experts that can be very useful for me. And so that's the difference between maybe when I was 13 and the 13th years old of today, because they are aware of everything that's around them, everything, but they're not fully and enough aware of their potential. So we have to do more so that they can have a platform to share everything that they want to say and everything that they think.
If you want to ask questions, you can now.
I have a question.
Yes,
Okay,
please.
go on.
In our life, sometimes there are some difficulties, and if you have motivation, what is your motivation to reach your goal?
Thank you for asking. And I think that the motivation is what I just said, meaning that I don't want that there are any other 13 years old not knowing of their potential, not being aware of how much they can do. So that's what motivates me, because I want that youth should, as I said in my speech at the UN, I wanted the institutions and governments, but also school board and university board, and whoever is in a position of, an higher position than us, they have to know that we are willing to be at their same level. Of course, we cannot be, at the same step, but just because we don't have, of course, the age and the years of experience as adults, or as them that are in institutions and so on. But of course, we have to be on the table. We have to be there and speak for ourselves, and not just, you know, listening adults or other people trying to speak for us. This is not what I want. So I'm trying. In another speech, I said that we need that governments, institutions, stakeholders, we need that they give us the tool to build our system, and we don't need that they build a system for us. And I think that that's very important, because otherwise we'll just recreate a system that already exists, and this won't lead to any change. So we have to identify all the things that are not working today so that we can change them. And that's it. That's my motivation. I really want to change the things, and and to do so, it's important to be here, and also to, acknowledge how the things are now. um, Yesterday I had a fight with my boyfriend, because we were in a like bar, and they were putting rock music, and all these people were jumping and pushing the other, and they were almost creating a fight. And my boyfriend got very upset, because he wasn't like used to be in a bar with rock music and see those people jumping and pushing. But I told him, you know, this is what it is. If you go to a rock bar, you know that there will be people jumping and pushing. And he was mad at me, because this is not how it should work. Like, no, this is not, you should not say it is what it is, because if you're not if you don't agree with something, you just need to change it. Of course, it cannot change how people wants to enjoy their time, of course, but it was like, we need to push other people to to be happy and to enjoy the disco and the bar. And he really made me think about this, because he also told me, you want to change the world, but you also say it is what it is. Um, so I thought about this, and yes, it is what it is, and it's important to acknowledge that it is what it is, but not because we don't have to change it, but only if we acknowledge how the things are, we can see the things that are not working properly, and we can change these things. So this, sorry, I just wanted to tell you this because I think it's important that it really made me think about how I do, and of course my, um, my ideas, and that can also change every day. So thank you for your question, and I hope that I answered properly.
Thank you for your answer.
Okay. Any more questions?
What was like your favorite moment at the UN?
Thank you. My favorite moment. Um, maybe maybe if I say the speech is like it's normal that was my favorite moment, but I will say I don't remember the exact day, but we were in the General Assembly, and we can say sneak it into the GA because we were supposed to be at the third committee, like listening to the speeches of all the other representatives. But we went there because we like a friend of us, the no, I don't remember the country, but it was another youth delegate. He was there, and it was writing in our chat group telling, you should come because we are in the GA, and they're about to discuss and about the negotiation of the the resolution of the Ukrainian territorial integrity. And we you can see like representatives arguing in the GA, so please come. And we went there, so we were listening to those representatives arguing on, of course, the test of the resolution. And after that, I can say that we were part of history because we attended the resolution be approved. So we were there, and we see the General Assembly clapping and applauding to the resolution being approved. And it was, for me, it was astonishing, and I was mesmerized about that because I felt part of the history, even if I wasn't voting, of course. I was just there attending, but it was great. And also, of course, Laura, when we attended the you know the other representatives arguing at the end of the third committee, like after, I don't know, 6 hours of being there and listening people um, reading their speeches, and after that, like, countries, representatives of countries being in not a fight, but arguing about what they said in their speeches. It was, I wouldn't say funny, but it was great. Thank you.
Okay. Who will be
I
next?
have I have just another comment or question. Like you're working like right in a side event also, right now or not? Like, and also you're doing another speech, right? Maybe you can like
Yes.
say more
Yes,
about
of
that.
course. Yes, of course. Because in like tomorrow, it will start the CSOCD in New York, but I won't go in New York. However, since this 6 focus on the importance of work and creating an adequate work environment so that people um, like youth or people with disabilities, any people who can have who are, I can say, who don't have the facilitate access to the workplace can have a better a better way, a better access to the workplace. So I of course recorded my speech that will be displayed in the UN. I don't know when, maybe tomorrow or on Tuesday, I don't know. And it was weird to record a video message and not being there, and also sharing with you like the the emotions and also the everything that you feel. So yeah, I was just alone in my room with my ring light and my phone, trying to tell my speech, and for only 1 minute and a half. So it was also very difficult to keep brief and say everything you want to say in the speech. And but I think that the commitment is, I put very effort in organizing with the other youth delegates, and also with Lara and other youth delegates, our side event, which will be held on the 10th of February. And of course, you're all invited to attend and join us online. I will be online too. So, and in this side event, we invited some experts to try to give us a new platform to talk about the difficulties of young people to enter the workplace, and also trying to understand why is this difficult. And it will be a place where young people can have an informal dialogue with experts, and also between us to say in whatever we think it's a problem I repeat again, in the workplace. So you are all invited, and yeah, so I'm happy for what it came in the organization of the side event, because we really put an effort. And I also think it's important to talk about work, of course, because we are all young people trying to find a place in the work system, but it sometimes can be very hard because we don't have the experience years, the years of experience requested. And to have, like, in order to get experience, you should apply for internship, but they are unpaid. And also they require you to move abroad, and we have to acknowledge that not everyone can move abroad, and not everyone can afford to do an internship for 6 months without being paid. um, so it's an issue that is needed to be addressed. And I'm really happy that we managed to organize this side event.
Next question. Okay, let's move on. Why why it's important to support young women leaders in the world right now?
um, I think that is very important. Wait, let me try to take this answer, also starting from the SDGs, because as we said before, the many SDGs I told you, 4, 5, and so on, they're interconnected. So to achieve goal 10, reduce inequalities, of course, we have to have gender equality. And so it is necessary to ensure a fair and equitable access to all aspects of life to women, not only in politics or in institutional environments, because we have to allow young women, women in general, or of course minorities, to have an adequate and equal access to work, education, medical care, and so on. So the meaningful participation of women in national, local, and community leadership roles has become an important focus on global development policy. So women's political participation results in tangible gains for democracy, including greater responsiveness to citizens' needs and increased cooperation across parties and ethnic lines. Um, so we know that like it is there are many researches that states that allowing women to attend and participate and having a role in the decision-making processes help in can affect both the range of policy issues that get considered and the type of solution that are proposed, because it's like having a new point of view, adding a new a new point of view, of a fresh air of something that has been the same for years. And so I think that's important for this, as I repeat again, it's important not only to ensure an equal access for women, but also for all the people that are members of that I consider to be part of minorities, because um, they can like bring new ideas, and of course they can better represent the needs of the minorities that they represent. um, in governments, that if we only hear maybe men talking about women needs, and oh, women, they don't need like recovery days for the period, they don't need we don't need the like tampon tax, is it's okay, the pink tax is okay, of course, because they are men, so they don't know which are the our needs. So having women in politics, women in decision making processes, it's very important, so that they can bring their needs, so that they can speak for themselves. And what are the challenges? I think that the challenges are, first, that they're not taken seriously from other people, and especially from some men, allow me to say that, because people believe that women are weak or too emotional, too empathic, or too attached to family values, and they won't allow us to travel, to work, to commit. So I would see that in general people don't see women being enough. And and I also think that we are too weak to cover some job positions, because I will recall again that it's not important to have women in higher ranks of societies, but also to be plumbers, economists, engineering, builder, and so on, because any level, any work is important, and it should be shared between gender and between people. And so we need to show that we can do whatever work men can do from centuries. However, I also think that we should acknowledge the differences between men and women, because of course there are differences, which are biological differences that play an important role in the execution of certain type of work. So I think that the first challenge is to change the patriarchal vision of nowadays societies. But moreover, women, especially those from global south countries, don't have the possibility to study, working in other places than home. So they are forced to manage house and children. There are also young women that are forced to marry and have a child. So that's an issue that I cannot relate to, because um, I haven't experienced that, but I understand, and I of course I will do everything to make other people aware of the situation that they reverse in. So um, here's like when we see that there are women and young women that are forced to forbidden to study, to work,
Mm.
here's where I see that SDG 4 education comes in aid to educate to SDG 5, because we need to educate those women on their potential and the many possibilities they have. So they should be aware of what they're missing so they can free themselves. And only by being fully aware of the situation they are in, they'll be able to decide if it really suits where they are or if they want to change it. And so I think that there are too many countries now that shed a shadow on women, prohibiting to go to school, university, from driving, from speaking, and if they could, even from thinking. So Um, what what can we do to combat this and promote young women leadership? Um, I'm sure that first of all, these meetings are essential so that we can educate people on what are the needs and what are the challenges that they can face. Um, and so, yeah, the answer for me will always be education. And of course, in another area that is not my expertise, it's of course funding and cooperating among states and among societies and people so that we can build a more interconnected world so that every country and every people will be aware on where they are and what they can do. So let me conclude with
Mm.
my motto, I would say, because I think that if we want to reduce inequalities and having a more equal world, youth engagement is the key. So to have youth engagement, we must empower young professionals through education. So yes, that's my motto, and that's what I believe.
And this program, UN Youth Delegates, is playing a big role of promoting young women leaders. I think so. I met many amazing youth delegates, and I think they are future leaders. They might be the future leaders of their countries. Okay. Uh, it was great to see you, Julia, here, and let's finish our event. And I hope we will meet again.
Yes, of course. Thank you again, and thank you all for being here and for attending, and of course asking questions. Thank you.
And let's promote young women leadership.
Yes, yes, of course.
Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye. Goodbye, everyone.